The older man, with a gentle yet teasing smile, adjusted his golden-rimmed glasses as he looked at the young girl before him. "Girl, which school do you go to?" he asked kindly. "I'll help you ask the school to give you a 2-day break. That way, you can avoid this idiot when he wakes up. If he wakes up and finds no one around, he'll be in total chaos." His tone was light-hearted, but the amusement in his eyes betrayed how much he was enjoying the situation. The scene shifted, focusing on a tall man in a sleek black pinstripe suit. His demeanor was calm but sharp. The narration described him with precision. Quinn was 27 years old, while the girl before him seemed to be less than 20. The contrast in their ages hinted at an underlying tension, perhaps one of concern, responsibility, or something deeper yet unspoken. Startled by the older man's offer, the girl quickly raised her hands in protest, her pink hair swaying with emotion. "No need, no need," she said hurriedly, her voice flustered but polite. "I can ask my friend directly to get permission from the school. There's no need to make it so complicated." Beside her, Quinn stood calmly, holding his phone, his expression unreadable but clearly attentive to her every word. From the back, the older man's figure could be seen as the girl stood by the window, the city lights glittering behind her. Her outfit was neat. A white blouse tucked into a dark blue skirt laced at the waist, making her look both youthful and composed. Quinn's tall frame loomed beside her, dressed impeccably as always. The atmosphere was a mix of awkward concern and quiet misunderstanding. Just as the tension began to rise, a soft voice interrupted. A graceful woman with lavender hair stepped forward, her tone warm but firm. "Honey," she said to the older man, "don't scare Quinn's little girl. It's not that early. We should return with Tuan." Her gentle words carried both affection and authority, instantly easing the room's atmosphere. The scene opens with a close-up of a young woman, elegant and composed. Her pastel purple hair cascades gracefully over her shoulders, framing the delicate line of her neck. She is dressed in a dark teal dress, decorated with subtle floral patterns, the fabric resting softly against her skin. A light yellow shawl is wrapped around her arms, giving her an air of quiet refinement. Her fingers, slender and graceful, rest lightly against someone's sleeve, as if seeking comfort or anchoring herself. The jewelry she wears is understated but meaningful. A thin necklace with a small pendant glimmering at her collarbone and a bracelet that catches the light with each slight movement. She appears poised, yet there is a touch of tension in her gesture, as though something important is about to happen. The next moment shifts to a doorway. A man stands, framed by the lights spilling in from the hall. His figure is tall and composed, dressed in a dark pinstripe suit that accentuates his formal and serious demeanor. His silver hair and glasses give him an air of authority and age-earned wisdom. He looks toward the woman, half visible in the frame, and speaks with a firm yet gentle tone. A speech bubble floats above him. "Take good care of Chin." Those words strike with weight, as though entrusted with more than just a responsibility. He stands steady, hopeful that the person he's addressing understands the importance of what he is asking. Suddenly, the scene transitions to the outside world. The sky stretches wide and open, a perfect gradient of soft blue touched by the warm light of the sun. White, wispy clouds drift lazily overhead, and the lens flare hints at a bright, hopeful afternoon. The top of a modern building appears in the corner, framed by lush green trees swaying gently in the breeze. The world seems calm and full of possibility. Whatever happened indoors now carries forward into this wider space, as if the story is stepping into a new chapter. The morning sun shone brightly over the tall, glass-covered building surrounded by lush green trees. The sky was a calm shade of blue, with only a few clouds drifting lazily above. Suddenly, the quiet atmosphere was broken by a soft but urgent sound. Knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the door, bringing a sense of anticipation and unease to the otherwise peaceful scene. Inside the hospital room, a young woman with long, flowing pink hair lay peacefully on a white bed, her delicate features softened by sleep. Sunlight filtered gently through the window, casting warm rays over her pale face and the soft blue blanket that covered her. But the calmness of the room was disrupted as a nurse entered, worry written all over her face. "Zichin has begun to act chaotically," she said anxiously. "He wants to leave the hospital. Could you please advise him?" The morning light filters softly through the curtains as a startled cry echoes in the quiet room. The pink-haired girl's violet eyes widen in alarm, her lips parting in surprise. "Wake up!" she gasps, leaning forward in panic. Her expression is a mix of worry and disbelief, as if she cannot believe what she's seeing. In this tense instant, her emotions overflow: hope, fear, and concern all at once. Moments later, a young man in blue striped pajamas sits up abruptly in the hospital bed, his face pale but determined. The IV line dangles loosely beside him as he clenches his hands together. "This is my problem," he snaps, his voice laced with frustration. "No need you worry." Standing across from him is a graceful woman with lilac hair, her green dress draped elegantly with a yellow shawl. She watches him quietly, her expression full of maternal concern, unsure whether to argue or to comfort him. The sound of footsteps approaches, and the pink-haired girl enters the room. Her voice is filled with gentle reproach as she says, "Your illness is still not cured. Why did you remove the syringe?" The young man's sharp tone softens at once when he notices her. "Kaka, you're still here?" he asks in surprise, his expression shifting from irritation to quiet disbelief. From behind, Kaka's long pink hair flows down her back like a silken waterfall as she stands at the doorway. The hospital equipment hums softly beside her, and the air feels heavy with unspoken emotion. Zichin sits on the bed, his posture stiff but his eyes lingering on her. The older woman by his side glances at Kaka with warmth, as if silently thanking her for being there through the night. An older nurse, smiling kindly, steps forward and gently pushes Kaka toward the door. "You even asked that?" she scolds lightly, addressing the patient. "Kaka took care of you all night until morning. We can only ask the nurse to clean the next room so Kaka can sleep there." Kaka lowers her gaze shyly, her cheeks faintly pink. The kindness in the nurse's words fills the room with warmth, a reminder of quiet care and gratitude after a long, exhausting night. The elderly nurse's gentle hand rests on Kaka's shoulder, guiding her forward. The girl looks hesitant, her steps small and uncertain, but the nurse's warmth seems to push her along. Her pale blue blouse and dark navy skirt sway lightly with her movement, the delicate lace on her sleeves reflecting her quiet, fragile elegance. Kaka takes a few steps, but the exhaustion from the long, sleepless night begins to take its toll. Her pink heels tremble slightly as she walks, her balance wavering. The word groggy echoes like a whisper of her fatigue. Each step feels heavier than the last, as if all the strength she used to care for him is now slipping away. Before she can steady herself, a familiar voice reaches her ears. "You see," the young man says softly, a hint of guilt in his tone. "Because she looked after you, she's become so haggard." His eyes linger on her face, concern shadowed with affection. Kaka looks up at him, surprised by the warmth in his voice, her cheeks tinged with an unexpected flush. He reaches out, his fingers brushing lightly against her arm, as if reassuring himself that she's really there. "You've worked hard," he says sincerely. "Are you tired from last night? Have you rested yet?" His tone is gentle now. Gone is the defensiveness from earlier. Instead, his voice carries something tender, something unspoken but deeply felt. Kaka's heart skips, unsure how to respond to the sudden kindness. Kaka shakes her head lightly, a faint smile appearing on her lips despite her weariness. "I'm fine," she replies softly. "How about you? Do you feel better yet?" Their eyes meet, hers bright but tired, his softer than before. The tension that once hung in the room seems to fade, replaced by a quiet warmth neither of them dares to name. The hospital lights glow gently above them, as if blessing the fragile connection growing between the two. The room was quiet, the soft morning light filtering through the curtains. The girl sat there, her pink hair cascading gently over her shoulders, her eyes wide with surprise. The man beside her, dressed in blue striped pajamas, reached out tenderly to adjust a strand of her hair. His touch was gentle but deliberate, his gaze calm, yet full of something unspoken. As his hand lingered near her face, he murmured softly, "Much better." The air between them felt warm, fragile, and intimate, as if the smallest movement could shatter the delicate moment they shared. Later that day, in a bright hospital room filled with the scent of medicine and the hum of machines, two visitors stood by the bedside. A composed man with lavender-tinted hair spoke in a gentle yet firm tone. "Your illness is still not cured," he said with quiet concern. "You should stay for 2 more days. If you don't like seeing me and Mom, then we'll leave after that, okay?" Beside him, a woman with long pink hair, his mother, clasped her hands anxiously. "Ziquin, stay 2 more days, okay?" she pleaded, her eyes full of worry. Her voice carried both motherly love and helplessness. They both stood there, hoping he would agree, wishing for a sign that he still cared. But Ziquin, lying in bed with a cold expression, turned his face away. His tone was distant, almost sharp, as he cut through their concern. "This is my business. You don't need to worry. I'm fine now. I can be discharged from the hospital." His words hung heavy in the air. Though his face remained calm, his clenched jaw revealed the pride and pain hidden beneath his defiance. His family's eyes filled with silent sadness, realizing that the wall between them was still too high to cross. The elderly woman's face is lined with worry as she turns to Kaka, her voice soft but firm. "Kaka, please advise him," she pleads, her tone filled with maternal concern. Kaka, startled, looks up at her with wide violet eyes. She can see the weight of anxiety in the older woman's expression, the kind that only comes from love and fear for someone's well-being. Kaka's heart tightens, and though she doesn't speak yet, her resolve begins to form silently within her. Taking a steadying breath, Kaka turns to the man sitting up in his hospital bed. Her voice is calm but filled with gentle concern. "Yesterday you had severe pain," she reminds him, her brows furrowing slightly. "What if the illness comes back? You should stay here for at least 2 more days." Her words carry the tone of a doctor's professionalism, but beneath that, there's a trace of personal worry she can't quite hide. He, however, only smiles faintly, the stubborn glint in his eyes betraying that he might not listen so easily. As she continues, he leans closer, a faint smirk curled at the corner of his lips. "Will you stay with me?" he asked softly, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder. The sudden question takes her by surprise, stealing the breath from her throat. Her lips part slightly. She begins, but no further words come. The warmth of his hand, the nearness of his voice, everything makes her heart skip uncontrollably. Before Kaka can find an answer, the elderly woman claps her hands together with a joyful laugh. "Kaka is your girlfriend," she says brightly. "Of course she will stay with you." Kaka's face flushes crimson at the misunderstanding, her mind spinning as the room suddenly feels too warm. Meanwhile, the man's lips curve into a satisfied smile, one that suggests he isn't planning to correct the woman anytime soon.
Silence lingers for a moment, broken only by the soft clink of a cup being placed on the table. The gentle sound echoes faintly, grounding the tension that had filled the air just moments ago. Yet even in that quiet, Kaka's heart still beats unevenly, her mind caught between embarrassment, frustration, and something far more complicated.
The girl's wide amethyst eyes shimmer with surprise as she lifts her gaze. Her pink hair frames her face softly, but her expression is frozen, caught between confusion and disbelief. Huh? The single word echoes her shock, as though something completely unexpected has just entered her field of vision. Seated neatly on the living room sofa are three men, each radiating a different kind of presence. On the left, a blond man sits casually forward, his cool blue eyes sharp with curiosity. In the center, a tall man dressed in all black crosses his legs with composed confidence, exuding a quiet authority that fills the room. On the right, a pale young man with soft silver hair maintains a gentle posture, his calm demeanor contrasting the tension in the air. Three untouched glasses sit on the table before them, as though they've been waiting for someone, perhaps her, to arrive. The girl stiffens, her eyes widening even more as she turns her head abruptly. Shock flashes across her face, and the background darkens dramatically behind her, heightening her alarm. Why is he here? The thought bursts in her mind, gripping her with unease as she realizes one of the people in the room is someone she did not expect, nor want to see. Her anxiety spikes further, her breath catching as a dreadful possibility dawns on her. The panel bursts with frantic energy lines surrounding her trembling figure. Yikes! Could it be? He heard what we said just now. The fear creeps up her spine, leaving her with no idea how much of the previous conversation might have reached his ears. Before she can retreat, a familiar warmth envelops her from behind. A tall man in striped pajamas leans close, his tone teasing yet edged with suspicion. His hand rests lightly near her shoulder as he peers at her with narrowed eyes. They're my friends. What's wrong? Seeing the idol Nangung Lee made you forget about me? His playful accusation hangs in the air, leaving her caught between embarrassment, panic, and the undeniable closeness of the man at her back.